Barak Tehawa, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rukakudash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is What Books Should I Avoid? Excuse me. This is just going to be like a quick little lesson dealing with the question that was posed on this lesson that was done, various topics, 6/13/2021, which is June 13th. And there was a brother by the name of Avin Anth, and he said, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Brakathum, Shalom El the Apostle, I have a question. Which books in the Bible are to be ignored? And normally questions like this, you're not really sure where the person is coming from, but, I figured it could either be a loaded question or a sincere question, because you do have, Jake that's just waking up, that's not really, hip to everything going on. So you have to be able to kind of read through, what they're saying to determine whether they're sincere or not. And depending on the question, deal with the question. Because we have in the book of, I believe that's First Peter, the 3rd chapter, it says, 1 Peter 3:15, but sanctify the Lord power in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear. Because the questions are being asked, in sincerity, and we answer them in sincerity. Colossians 4:5, walk with wisdom towards them that are without, redeeming the time. Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that you may know how you ought to answer every man. So everything has an answer, and sometimes it may be a scoffer and just use it for edification, and sometimes it's a sincere question, and it could be used for edification for the person, and if peradventure it's not for them, it could be for someone else. So the question was, I have a question: which books in the Bible are to be ignored? And when I read this, it said which books in the Bible. And I'm thinking of, how you have individuals out here that are teaching that the Apostle Paul, you can't really take all of his writings for face value because blah, 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 this, that, and the other. So I'm thinking along those lines, or maybe they've been listening to some of these guys and are confused because he said which books in the Bible are to be ignored. So I said none. And I put Psalms 40:7, then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book, it is written of me, which is dealing with Yahushai. Proverbs 35:6, every word of the Most High is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. Add thou not unto his words, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. And the scriptures speak about not to take away either. Because if you take away, then the Lord will take away your part from the book of life. Then it goes on to say, he says, I thank you for the response. I was asking because I thought the book of Enoch should be ignored. I did not know if there were others. Shalom. So, see, this is the thing. This book of Enoch, Jasher, Jubilee, and things like that are not in the Bible. But see, he's probably asking this question from a standpoint of being confused because of all of this BS that's going on. And this is what happens, the sheep get confused. Now, those that are part of the elect will come out of that confusion, and those that are not will remain in that confusion and be destroyed. So what I came back with, it says the book of Enoch is not a part of the Bible. Neither is the book of Jasher or the book of Jubilee. The original Bible had the Apocrypha in it, and the Apocrypha is still valid. So even though the Bible mentions Jasher, this is not part of the Bible because the book is not in there. If the Lord wanted the book of Jasher or the book of Jubilee or the book of Enoch to be in the Bible, it would have been there. Now, some people may say, well, what about the Apocrypha? The Apocrypha is not in the Bible. Then he said, thanks, Shalom, Apostle. Shalom to you, brother. And you might be like, well, the Apocrypha is not in the Bible. When you go to the King James, right, let's deal with the King James. Let's just deal with the King James, delete. Bible. Let's see. Let's go to table of contents. Table of contents. Here, let's see what this one is. What you have is you have contents. This is a King James Bible. You have the books of the Old Testament, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, all the way down to Malachi, which is the last book in the Old Testament. Then you have the books of the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, all the way down to Revelation, which is the last book in the New Testament. So where's the Apocrypha? Well, you have to go to the original, the actual original King James version of the Bible that had the Apocrypha in it. And that's why you go to the old one. You have here the names and order of all the books of the Old and New Testament with the numbers of their chapters. You have here Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Number, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, Ecclesiastes, all the way down to Malachi. From Genesis, the first book in the Old Testament, to Malachi, the last book in the Old Testament. Then you have in the table of contents the books called Apocrypha. First Ezra, Second Ezra, Tobit, Judith, the rest of Esther, Wisdom of Solomon, Ecclesiasticus, which is also known as Sirach, Baruch, the Songs of the Three Children, the story of Susanna, the idol, Bel and the dragon, the prayer of Manasseh, First and Second Maccabees. So these are all a part of the original Bible. And it wasn't until 1826 when the Apocrypha was ripped out of the Bible in English by a group called the Biblical Destruction Group. And then after that, because they came in 1776 and 50 years later they disbanded, which means they broke apart, but they just broke apart and went under different names. All right, but by 1826 they managed to pull out the Apocrypha out of the Bible. But it was a part, as you can see here, this is the old King James. I actually happen to have a King James Bible here with the Apocrypha in it. And if you look hard enough, you might find one somewhere. But it has the books of the Apocrypha. Then you have the books of the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, all the way down to Revelation. And the word Apocrypha, APO, means send, to send, and Krypha means hidden. So the books of the Apocrypha were sent hidden because they were pulled out of the Bible. The King James, the original, had it in there. You have Spanish Bibles that have the Apocrypha in it. To this day, you have some of the Apocryphal books in the Roman Catholic Bible, so on and so forth. All right, so these are the books you should be reading. If you want to know what books you should not read, if it's not in here, don't read it. Now you have reference books like the Concordance. You have the Blue Letter Bible, the Concordance, Strong's. You have different books like that you can use as reference books to look up certain things. But the stronghold is the Bible. And these are the books that you can bank on. All of these books, the Old Testament, the Apocrypha, and the New Testament. These are the books you can read with confidence. Jasher, Enoch, none of those appear in here. Jubilee, none of that appears in here. So leave that alone. Don't touch it. Just leave that alone. So let's get real quick and then I'm going to close it out. Ecclesiastes, 12th chapter and the 13th verse. 12. And further by these, my son, be admonished of making many books. There is no end. And much study is a weariness of the flesh, because you have between the Old Testament, which the Apocrypha is part of the Old Testament, the Apocrypha, and the New Testament, you have plenty to read to keep you occupied. There's plenty of information and history and mysteries and all different type of things within those books to keep you occupied till Yahweh Shai comes back. There's no need to go out to extra biblical sources that are not in the Bible to get information. But this was what happens with these individuals that want to get deeper than deep. It says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For the Most High shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. The last precept I'll leave you with is Isaiah 34, which we always go to, in 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. What's the book of the Lord? The Bible. No one of these shall fail. The prophecies will not fail. None shall want her mate. You can't make the Bible with any other book out there. This is another precept came to mind. I just want to get that. All right. It says, for my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered it. Let me just get this one too, and I will, like I said, we'll close it out on these two. Revelation 1 and 3, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. So blessed is he that readeth what? The words of the Lord. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. All right. 1 Timothy 4 and 14, neglect not the gift that is in thee. Matter of fact, let me just get this one here. It says, neglect not the gift that is in thee, which was given thee by prophecy, with the laying on of the hands of the presbytery, which were the elders. Meditate upon these things, give thyself wholly to them. Meaning all of you. Yep, the Book of Mormon is trash, that's right. It's garbage. It's garbage. Like the elder already said, it's garbage. You know, if it's not in here, we already said, if it's not in here, Old Testament, Apocrypha, and the books of the New Testament, don't read it. Now, we do go into the Book of Mormon to pull out certain information out of it that's BS. But if you're not grounded in the truth, don't mess with it. Leave it to the brothers that are already exercised in the knowledge. You know? Otherwise, you're going to get confused. You're going to get messed up. And you're going to, fall out. Because you're going to get bugged out. Because you're not going to know how to discern between the two. All right, let's read this. Hebrews 5 and 12. For the time you ought to be teachers. There's instructions in the Bible of how to conduct yourself, what to do, how to make it to the next phase. It says, you have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High, because it all lies within the basics, the milk, which is the foundation, and are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat, because milk are the basic scriptures, the meat are the deeper aspects and mysteries of the scriptures, which if you don't have your foundation sure on the milk, why would you want to advance to the meat? This you have individuals out there that want to advance to the meat because they want to show themselves like they know something. But then you ask them a basic question on a basic thing and they can't answer you. Oh, but they could break down Revelation. They could break down Daniel. But they can't break down basic little building block scriptures. So it says, for everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. So if you're a babe, stick to the milk until you come of age. Like it says, be like a matter of fact, let's get it real quick. Let me get another. Isaiah 28 and 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge? Who's the he? The Most High. Whom shall the Most High Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai teach knowledge? Right? It says, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? So who is he going to make a teacher? And who is he going to make to understand doctrine, the things that we're teaching? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. Like a baby, when it's a baby, it sucks its mother's milk because it doesn't have teeth. It can't chew meat. So the milk has all of the substance and the nutrients that the baby needs to grow. That's why it says in Peter, desire the sincere milk of the word that you may grow thereby. So it says, for precept so when you're weaned, meaning you no longer need to be on the titty, you're ready to eat solid foods. But even in that, you still have to be careful of what you eat because you're still learning. It says, for precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people. So That's how the scriptures are broken down, precept upon precept and line upon line, here a little and there a little. But you must begin with the meat. I'm sorry, with the, that was a slip of the tongue. You must begin with the milk. That's why it says for Hebrews 5:13, for everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. He's still learning. He's still growing. He's still building. So if it's not here, this is the table of contents of the King James Version, the old one. You have the Old Testament, which is Genesis to Malachi. You have the Apocrypha, which is also a part of the Old Testament, from 1st Ezra to 2nd Maccabees. Then you have the New Testament from Matthew to Revelation. If it's not in here, don't read it. Unless you have a sure foundation and you are able to pick out the meat from the bones. So people are reading that Book of Mormon saying it's the Northern Kingdom because somebody out there said that was the Book of the Northern Kingdom. And guess what? Now everybody's jumping on it. The Book of Mormon the Book of Mormon is of the devil. Elder Pastor said it in one of his lessons. The Book of Mormon is the greatest plagiarized book ever written. Because what they did was they took parts of the Bible, incorporated it in there, and then put their own bullshit spin on it. If you get caught out there, that's on you. So going back to Timothy, 1 Timothy 4:15, meditate upon these things, give thyself wholly to them, that thy profiting may appear to all. It says, take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine, continue in them, for in doing this thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee. Oh, we forgot Hebrews, back in Hebrews 5:14. But strong meat belongeth to them that are full age, meaning what? That they've no longer have need of the milk anymore. Every once in a while, you still go back to the milk and the basics, to refresh your course. But now this individual is able to work in the spirit because the Lord helped him build his foundation. Now he can read certain things and go to certain things and not get tripped up. It won't be a stumbling block to him. Even those who by reason of what? Of use. The word experience. X is out. And perience or peritas is to try out. So by reason of use, that's where you gather or gain experience. So even those who by reason of use, why? Because they've been doing it over and over and over again, have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. See? So they're able to maneuver in this maze of confusion in this world. Malachi 3:16, then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another, and the Lord hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before him, before the Most High, for them that feared the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and that thought upon his name. For you guys out there that try to cheapen the Most High by not giving him his name and his due respect. It says, and they shall be mine, saith the Lord of hosts, in the day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. Then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth the Most High and him that serveth him not. Why? Because the Lord will give you the eye salve needed to be able to sift through this maze of confusion. So I'm going to say this once again, then I'm going to read the last precept and close it out there. This is the table of contents of the old King James Version of the Bible. If you go to the new one that we have now, you're going to get this, just the Old Testament and New Testament. You're not going to get the Apocrypha in there. But if you go to the old one, you will see the Old Testament, Genesis to Malachi, the books called the Apocrypha from 1st Ezra to 2nd Maccabees. Then you're going to get the books of the New Testament from Matthew to Revelation. If it's not in here, don't read it. It's not required reading. Once you come of age, if you want to get certain points like we do in the Book of Mormon to show that they're a bunch of devils because they took the story of Cain and pretty much flipped it around. And instead of being so-called white, being a curse, they're saying that those that sinned had a skin of blackness put upon them. So that can be used to show that it's a bunch of BS, and that the scriptures give us the proper meaning. But if you don't know what's going to happen, you're going to read that and you're going to be confused. So last scripture I'm going to read, Revelation 22:18. For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book, if any man shall add unto these things, the Most High shall add to him the plagues that are written in the book. You know? And that's what the Lord said. Yahushua said this. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, the Most High shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city and from the things which are written in this book. Right. And eventually what's going to happen is you're going to be destroyed, but you'll come back later. All right. You'll come back later. All right. So pretty much, this has been what books should I avoid? Or anything that's not on this list here, you should avoid. If you're a teacher and you come to the point where you're ready to teach and you're moving in the spirit and you can discern, then you can, delve into certain things just to pull out certain points to show, what the scriptures say versus what that nonsense says. All right. So with that, I pray that your brothers have been edified. I pray that his question was answered. Till the next time I say Shalom.